Welcome back to Retire Southern, where we share authentic experiences and meaningful connections from the heart of the American South. Our message is simple. Life is too short to wait for someday, so don't wait for retirement to start living. I'm your host, James Lewis, and our guest on this episode is a true Southern culinary pioneer. The co-founder of Unsukay, the Atlanta restaurant group behind Muss Turners, Local 3, Eleanor's, MTH Pizza, and Roshambo. He's also one of the driving forces behind The Giving Kitchen, a James Beard Award-winning nonprofit that's transformed how we care for restaurant workers in crisis. From Pizza Hut employee to community builder, his story is a masterclass in grit, gratitude, and giving back. Chris Hall, welcome to the Retire Southern podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm grateful to be back in this lovely establishment that you have here that we can get into in a little bit. But
yeah, we'll talk. The cat's out of the bag. We can talk about Warhorse and Seahorse and where we are. No, I appreciate you.
If we could or we couldn't.
We're good. Yeah, the clubs are fair game. We're not going to show anyone pictures, but we'll
no pictures.
We'll let your minds run wild.
I love that.
Right?
I love that. We'll tease you a little bit. So let's just start with the name Unsukay.
Yeah, it's an entirely fabricated word for doesn't suck, which we think is a pretty good business philosophy.
Doesn't suck.
So yeah, really, I think we called it Anglo-Japanese or something. But anyways, it's not. Our first chef de cuisine at Muss Turners was a guy named David Sturgis, and I had worked in French restaurants, and French gastronomy is a thing in the chef world, and so you'd ask Dave like, "Hey, how's this today?" And he'd be like, "Oh, it does not suck. It's unsukay." And it was just this hilarious sort of thing. And Dave was like, "We need to call our restaurant Unsukay." And we're like, "Nah, that's probably not going to happen." So when we formed the partnership with Todd and Ryan and myself, we actually called it Unsukay. We take what we do seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. Okay.
You have a lovely French accent, by the way.
So thank you very much. I got yelled at by French guys for a long time. I can say I speak virtually no French, and what I do is basically like kitchen sailor French. Mm-hmm. And my sister, who speaks perfect French, is like, what you said makes no sense and is not anatomically possible. I'm like, I used to get yelled at all the time, right? Like, just having some guy just scream at you for 4 hours in French was great.
So your sister's fluent in French?
She's fluent in French and Spanish. Okay. So yeah, she's the brains of the operation.
Gotcha.
And the looks. And I don't know what I am. I'm the brawn, I guess.
My sister is also fluent in French, so we have that in common. So you grew up here in Atlanta. Can you please share your earliest food memories that just made you fall in love with this whole business?
Yeah, I was really fortunate to grow up in a food-centric family. So we had family dinner every night around a dinner table, mm-hmm. and it was home-cooked food. There was no TV on. God, I sound really old. And we walked 7 miles up the hill to school with no shoes.
You cannot turn on the Cosby Show until dinner was over.
But it was a real thing, and it was a thing. Both my mom and my grandmother were incredibly good cooks, but they weren't fancy cooks. I mean, and some days it was breakfast for dinner, mm-hmm. which I still love, mm-hmm. right? Like, it's still a thing. Sure. It was a thing on the opening Local 3 menu. And then my grandfather was part of a company, and he ran sales. And so he loved to go and dine out and knew everybody in restaurants and used to take us out. And he was super old school, like children to be seen, not heard, mm-hmm. sit there. And from a young age, we would go out to really nice restaurants because we knew that we would die if we didn't behave.
Right.
And then it became a thing, like, hey, and we got all this cool attention. And I can remember being in kitchens at 5 and 6 years old and him holding me up and watching chefs do things and all. So it's just a really food-centric family. I remember you would cook with my grandmother during the summers if we were at their place. Like, you would tip beans and you would help fry chicken and it was a fish fry on Friday nights, mm-hmm. and all those things. And so you had to help out. You had chores. I mean, I remember one of my favorite memories is she had this little step stool, and you would stand on that, and she would go get tomatoes from the garden, and you would make tomato sandwiches and eat them over the sink because they were so juicy it would go everywhere. And I always had the little metal coffee can on the stove where there were bacon drippings around. And I
yep.
Talk about a child of the Depression, right? And what we never went through. My grandmother had a string that went above the oven, and she would literally put one of those cans below and hang the butter wrappers by a clothespin so every little bit of butter would drip down in there because they were kids of the Depression, right? And so everything mattered. So I just grew up in it's funny, I use the word privilege, not in a moneyed way, but I grew up in a house where food was important, where breaking bread together was important, and where cooking was important. And so that had a profound effect on me.
Where did your grandparents live?
So they actually lived in Michigan and had a farm. It was the old family it was my grandmother's old family homestead. Her family owned the general store in town. It was a working farm at one point.
Is this like Upper Peninsula?
Yeah, no, like middle of Michigan. I mean, it's fun. Like I tell people now, if you really want to go see the highest concentration of stars and bars, of rebel flags hanging off pickup trucks, just roll up to where we are in Michigan, like wherever the family place is in Michigan, because there are more rednecks up there than there are down here, right? Okay. It's really, but that's all farm country, right? That's Silver Queen corn and blueberries and asparagus in the spring, and it's snowmobile racing in the winter. I mean, they're so similar to, but we would go up and spend the whole summer there, and it was super idyllic, and you'd probably go and have DFACs come and get you now, because I was rolling around in a boat with a life preserver on at 10 years old in the middle of the lake fishing, and I had a 22 sling over my back, and it was literally like, leave the house in the morning and show your ass back up when the bell rung at dinner and wash up and do your chores. Yeah. But there's, we were building forts and running chainsaws at 12 and just crazy. Like, it was awesome.
Those are some of the best memories growing up. You're right. Kids can't do that anymore. I mean, it's same thing. When you're little, it's like grab your shotgun, grab your fishing pole, 10 years old, box of skeet, whatever, go fishing, go shoot, trap, whatever. Yeah, parents just don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, right? We knew where we could shoot. Like, we'd have a berm behind it where, and
don't shoot towards the house.
Right. We knew all the rules, and we knew the trouble we'd get in, and so we wanted to do it. We knew we were privileged to be able to do it. It was just such a fun time.
It didn't matter if there were bears out there because you were packing anyway.
Yeah, right? So. I mean, you had a little bell on your backpack or whatever, and you had a good time. I mean, your biggest enemy was poison ivy and some sort of bee or hornet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So on your website, on Unsukay, it says you started your restaurant journey as a teenager at Pizza Hut over on Collier Road. What were some of your biggest takeaways from working at Pizza Hut as a teenager? Anything you carried forward?
Yeah, so it's now Das Barbecue, so they major upgrade, right? Like,
so Das Barbecue is where
it is now. I could ride my bike up there. I was saving money because I wanted to buy a car. My parents were like, great, go buy a car. We ain't giving you one, right? And so kind of mowing lawns during the day and doing that. I have a lot of lasting memories from Pizza Hut. None greater than the fact that brown polyester sucks. Yeah. Terrible uniform, right? Pan pizza doesn't suck. It's still great. It's really good. Unsukay, right? Dough is a living thing. I mean, like, you don't think about stuff like that when you're a kid. I'm like, man, dough's alive. There's yeast and there's stuff going on. I still love really cold and cheap beer. I'm not your triple IPA guy. I'm your give me the coldest freaking Miller High Life you could possibly get, and I'm a happy guy. But I think part of what's so endearing to me about the restaurant business and the hospitality industry is, like, the principles are all the same. We're all taking care of people. I mean, and food and drink is our love language. And for us in our company, we talk about the fact that food and drink is our vehicle for human connection. Like, that's a big thing for us. We're trying to connect people, and food is the vehicle, or drink is the vehicle we choose. So I think, it was the same, right? I learned that working for a good manager is awesome, and working for a bad manager is terrible. Right. People leave people, not jobs. I will say that, like, the greatest promotion of my entire life was going from Pizza Hut to Fellini's. Wow. I mean, there's no box that wasn't checked. Like, more money, better beer, better pizza, rock and roll, hotter chicks, tattoos. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. I mean, it was an exponential boost in everything, right? Yeah. And still the greatest salad that ever exists. Yeah, the Fellini salad is unreal. I was sitting with my culinary director the other day talking about it, and we were just like, it is the best salad that's ever been. Totally. Esperanza dressing from Cisco included. It's just Like, I still to this day will just go get a Fellini salad and a slice. Like, I own a pizza place, right? Yeah. I have a version of that salad on our menu.
That's hilarious.
It is not as good as what they do, right? Like, I'm happy to admit that. There's just something about that salad and that wooden bowl and the whole nostalgia piece that's really important. Yeah, so pizza was good. It was a good place to start.
Did you ever do delivery, or were you always in the kitchen?
No, I was always in the kitchen. Okay. You know, me and front facing, I don't think anybody wants that, right? There's going to be stuff that gets said that everyone regrets, probably mostly me. So it's better to keep the trolls back in the cave.
Okay. So you leave Atlanta. How do you end up in Philadelphia at Lebec Fenn?
So I go to college at a small school.
What school in Philly?
Haverford College.
Okay.
And was playing soccer and was going to class, and it was really hard. And my lifestyle and my work-study job, which was shelving government documents in the library from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, my lifestyle and that job did not line up. Right?
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, not good. And I lived in a house with 17 other rugby players, you can imagine. And it was actually, humorously enough, called the Elijah Drinker House.
Okay.
Named after a fine Quaker gentleman, Elijah Drinker. But aptly named, as you can imagine, with 18 rugby guys. And a couple guys that lived there were actually post-baccalaureate students coming back to get pre-med requirements done that they hadn't done. Super smart guys, but they all had jobs on the side because they were taking like 1 or 2 classes. And one of them worked at Lebec Fenn and knew I had worked in restaurants and was like, hey, we need someone to come in and wash dishes and help out.
Sure.
And I went and I was like, well, I got fed, I got wine, and I didn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. to do it, and the money was better, and I'm taking microeconomics, and if I'm learning anything, it should be that I should go do this job and not that job. And so that's how it started. And then, much to my and my parents' chagrin, I kind of got into it and just kind of stopped going to class and started cooking, and here we are 35 years later.
Right.
Sans degree and all the money my parents wasted for prep school and that. But that's really how I ended up there. And it was a super interesting place to learn because it was very old school. It was the brigade system. It was very draconian. It was a really interesting place to learn. But I learned a ton about food there.
How long did you work there?
And I worked there for about 3 years. Okay. 3.5 years. So, but you learn. I mean, all good kitchens and it doesn't matter, like, good being they're run well, not the type of food they put out, right? There's a level of discipline. There's a level of attention to detail. Go to a Waffle House sometime and watch the best cooks. Watch a really good grill operator. Like, there's an incredible level of ergonomics and economy of motion. Like, one of the best cooks I've ever worked with works with us today. We've been working together since 1999. And it's funny because when you watch Oscar cook, like, he's not the fastest guy. Nothing looks hurried. If they're 5 gears, he's in about somewhere between 3 and 4 the whole time, but he's there for hours on end. Right? There's an economy of motion. There's an incredible sense of pace and timing, and he's just knocking everything out. And at the end of the night, you're like, man, you made that look so easy. And then you try and do it, and you're like, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's one of those things. But I learned a lot there. I learned a lot at Canoe. And they're different. I mean, with Gary and Carvel and everyone at Canoe and Jerry, like, I learned a lot about food, but I learned how to run a kitchen there. Okay. Right? I learned they were open about financials. You know, I learned a lot about leadership and organization. That's a big, fast operation. I mean, there's 2 tents. When I was there, we had this pretty awesome group of people there. I mean, Chris Haggerty, who ended up owning a couple pizza places, Terry Koval, who has a James Beard Award, Mark Alba, who's still a chef here in town, Jason Paolini from Lucian Books and Wine, Ryan Smith from Staple House. We were all on the same line. Canoe's a special place, and I was fortunate. They just celebrated 30 years, which that's just a stunning achievement in our business. 30 years it's hard for me to comprehend 30 years. Right. And they're still relevant, and they're still busy, and the service is still rocking, and Vince and Matt have that thing running. Like, it's mind-boggling
I mean, it is an Atlanta icon.
Yeah,
really
no,
is.
I mean, and like, so what, I was having this discussion with a couple chef friends, like, you know how you have dog years? So what are restaurant years? Is it 5 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 4 years? And it's interesting, too, because like most things, it's all about what's new, right? Nobody's doing a review on Canoe. Nobody at the paper is going, hey, check this out. I mean, 30 years, like,
right.
And then you see terrible news in Atlanta for all of us that grew up here and hung out there, like Eats is closing. I mean, man, I've had more meals at that place. And like my whole family's Georgia Tech people. My brother went there. I lived in Home Park. I met my wife when we both lived in Home Park. I mean, that was a once or twice a week place because you could afford it. And the jerk chicken was great. And like 30 years is a great run, but I'm sad to see it go.
Of course.
That one hurts. Like I got that news and like the text started flying with buddies and everything. Like we got to get down there. Like it's, but 30 years is incredible. So Canoe is a place that really fostered learning. And I mean, I'm still friends with so many people I worked with there. It's funny. I mean, restaurants are interesting. I mean, they're the family you choose, right? And you go through so much and it's so intense. It's a live performance every night. You don't know what's coming. It's hot. I mean, it's like going to the lights come up. It's like it's no different than a professional athlete. I mean, a lot different than a professional athlete. But like you're on stage every night. You got no idea what's coming at you, and you bond with people really, really intensely. And I have so many people from the restaurant world that I'm really, really close to, just because we were in those trenches, sweating, getting burnt, doing dumb shit together. That it's really important. Emphasis on the doing dumb shit.
Really making.
I'm good at that.
Good choices.
I'm better at that than anything else, right?
Sounds like it. So let's talk about how Unsukay came together. So you, Todd Mussman, Ryan Turner, you're at Canoe. So like, how does this partnership form, and how does this take off?
I'd actually just left Canoe, my first stint there, and taken my first exec job. There was a Dutch guy named Michael Bakker who came into the Westin Peachtree Plaza. Michael ran all of Google's campuses. He's now the CEO of the Culinary Institute of America.
Oh, wow.
But brilliant human being. Another guy I learned a ton from. But he came in with the remit to change the iconic sundial, right? They had gone from like 12 million in sales to like 3 million. And he's like, hotel people aren't working, so I'm going to assemble this team of non-hotel people to come in and run this restaurant. Well, we did great on the running of the restaurant and boosting sales and all that. There are a lot of – any big organization is naturally going to have rules. And restaurant people and rules don't necessarily go together, particularly independent restaurant people. So it was a short-lived 3 years, but I'm still really close friends with Seth Roskin and Antoinette Pote and like a lot of people that were there. So I was there, and we were participating in the first Taste of Atlanta.
Okay.
And Muss Turners had just opened, and Julie and I lived maybe like 2 miles from there, and it was the only. I mean, this was Smyrna in 2006, 2005.
Right.
There wasn't anything out there, right? Like literally nothing out there, right?
That
was the first. Like I'm like, what do you mean? There's a real restaurant, like this kick-ass deli with all these cool beers, and I'm like, I can get foie gras shaved on a sandwich. Like, I mean, it was so...
In Smyrna?
And so, right? And so we were going, and I sat next to Todd and Ryan at this Taste of Atlanta, like, introduction meeting. And we hit it off, and I was like, hey, we're coming in once a week. We're big fans. I kind of had the itch to do my thing at that point, right? And I was like, hey, I'd love to, pick your brain on how to do that. And Todd and I gravitated together over food, and he's a chef, and Ryan was this really interesting, really smart, and still is a really interesting and really smart business, minded guy. And we always say, if you drink enough bourbon together and eat enough meals together, you're going to end up doing something.
Something's going to come out of it.
Yeah, and we ended up having a baby, right? And that baby was Local 3. It was such a wild time because what a lot of people don't know is that when you drove in the complex at the Forum here, Local 3, when you pulled in the parking deck, was supposed to be in that space to your left in the other building. We had done a deal on that. Julie and I sunk our life savings into architecture for that. And right before we were getting ready to kick off, the government seized that building. It was the Bankers Bank, Silverton Bank, and it was the second largest bank in the country to fail. And so we kind of went and we were like, well, we got these plans. When can we open our restaurant? And they were like, government owns the building. You can go pound sand.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, which is pretty crestfallen. And you get into '08 where you're just literally trying to make payroll and survive. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it, and neither are Todd and Ryan. You know, we existed because our community decided we were worthy of that. We worked really hard. And a lot of our vendors took our word that we would pay them and extended our terms out way, way, way past any logical point of return. So if it wasn't for people like that betting on us, we don't make it through, right? But we made it through, and we had kind of already negotiated this deal to come down here, and kind of we were out of that deal, but they wanted to shut Joel down. And so Bob Anderson, who's passed away now, Bob was running Ronus US, and he called me and he's like, what do you think about taking over Joel? And I'm like, listen, man, we can't even pay for the gas to go in that Ferrari. Thanks, but no thanks. Calls a month later. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, Bob, I told you, we can't put gas or tires. He calls me about a week later. I mean, Bob ate all over the world. Brilliant guy. He's like, Hall, you're a really good cook. Not a great one, you're a really good one. He'd always throw a shot at you, right? He's like, but you're a shitty business guy. He's like, this is the part where you make me an offer I can't refuse on Joel. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh. Right? So I call Ryan Todd. We go scram. And that's really how the deal came together. And we've been partners ever since.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So many great times. So many incredibly hard times. COVID, but it's like being married. I mean, you go through the struggles and you communicate. And you're super fortunate to have those guys at your side. I can't imagine running restaurants as an individual and not having partners, because it just diffuses a lot of the weight that you have to carry. So it's been great. But yeah, that's what, and I think at some point you for all of us, I know for Todd and Ryan, we've talked about this. Like for me, going out on my own was for two reasons. You know, one of them was you just want pure creative control. And even when you have like when I worked at Fourth and Swift with Jay, he was so generous. It was an incredible experience. And I really did have creative control. I mean, Jay would let me do, but you still had investors that were like, I want a Caesar salad. Right. And so you got to have a Caesar salad on the menu. Right. And I was like, I don't want that. I want to do whatever I want to do. Right. And then there was really this, I mean, it plays into the whole retire Southern thing. Like, it was nagging at me. I was in my late 30s of like, I don't want to wake up when I'm 60 and go, what if? So do it. Right. I mean, the worst is you lose everything and you start over, but you got a skill set. My wife's a teacher. We could at least have health care and do that. And so, yeah, take a chance, right? Right. Seems to have worked out so far, knock on wood.
So in your three different roles, you have multiple restaurants. So kind of tell me like what's Chris's role versus Ryan's role versus Todd's role? Like how do you guys all play off each other?
That's a great question. And you can call our business coach / marriage counselor. We've been through several of those, but it's really important. We're very open about that. So I think I'm the creative force behind things. Just the running, the day-to-day. If it touches a guest, I'm involved in some way. Okay. And we have a big team now who's really capable. So what I touch is less than I used to. It's more mentoring and working with them on where we are and what we're doing. Ryan handles the business side, does a lot of individual development and coaching. We're all responsible for culture. And Todd is our resident mad scientist, right? Okay. Imagine someone that actually got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old to not like pizza. He served them pizza like 300 days in a row as we were working on MTH. Like, because it was a new dough every day. And it was so cool, even as a chef, to be able to tell Todd, like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about it? He's like, that's what I'm thinking. And it was just like, what are the hydration levels? What are the flour levels? I'm super proud that we have a gluten-free pizza. I mean, it's not gluten-free because there's flour in the air, but it took us a year to develop that. It took Todd a year to figure that out because my goal was, if I didn't tell you it didn't have gluten in it, I just wanted you to eat it. And then you're like, oh, it doesn't have gluten?
Even better.
Right? Even better. I can eat it, right? And so, like, we're able to deploy Todd on super niche, cool stuff. I mean, him going to meat school at Iowa State and learning everything about charcuterie and HACCP programs and all that stuff. Like, it's a cool skill set, right? So yeah, we now have Susie and Jimmy in the mix, who are partners as well. Susie runs our base camp operation, which is support services. So payroll, insurance, all that stuff. And then Jimmy is our director of operations. So I talk to him multiple times a day just about, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. So we're 5 of us now, all in the bag, fighting it out every day.
So the Given Kitchen you co-founded. And that was born from a real tragedy that really rocked your restaurant family. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So Ryan Heidinger was our chef de cuisine at Muss Turners, and Ryan took us through the Great Recession and was an unbelievably great chef and an unbelievably great human being. And so in December, I'm bad at years, but I just remember being there, and Ryan picked up a case of chicken. He had just been in New York, and he yelped, and he made this sound, and I was like, what is that, dude? No, I'm like, something's not right. He's like, I think I got gout, partied pretty hard with Smith in New York City. I'm like, go to the doctor. Anyways, he goes to the doctor a couple weeks later. He's leaving the doctor. They call him back, come in, go, yeah, you're pretty much riddled with tumors. We're going to give you an MRI and see what happens. He goes and gets that, and they're like, yeah, you've got, 3 to 6 months, figured out. And as a guy that's 34 at the time, it rocked all of our worlds. For many of us, it was the first sort of jolt of reality of mortality at that age. And so we sat down at Ryan and Jenny's dining room table, and it was Ryan and Jenny and Todd and Ryan and myself and Michael Gallagher from Brick Store, and just said, hey man, we don't want money to be an issue with treatment, because you're at a place where just going and doing chemo is probably not going to be enough, right? So we did the first Team Heidi. It took us about 3 weeks to plan, and we had 750 people show up, and we raised about $275,000.
Amazing.
And it went to Ryan and Jenny. And after that, a month or 2 goes by, and then the phone started to ring. And it was Todd's phone and my phone and Ryan's phone and Mike's phone. And it was, hey, man, we got a guy over here that has a similar situation. I'll never forget. There was a bartender, I think he was from Park Tavern, and he'd had a traumatic brain injury, and he was in a wheelchair. And for some unknown reason, I just remember this so vividly, insurance wouldn't pay for his doors to be widened so he could get his wheelchair through them.
That's insane.
He needed a ramp. And we threw it out to Jenny and Ryan, and they were like, well, we have this money, just do it. And we were like, you sure? And they're like, yeah. Right? And then sort of this idea germinated. Michelle Stumpy, who's our alcohol lawyer, came along, and she had founded a nonprofit already, and she's like, you guys are treading in water you don't know anything about. Let's paper this thing up and get it. And the fastest 501c3 you can ever imagine came through, and that's how the Giving Kitchen was founded. In no way did any of us ever think that it was going to be what it is today. It was something that started around helping a buddy out and maybe helping some people in Metro Atlanta. Now we're a national charity that's helped over 30,000 people, giving away $16-17 million.
Unbelievable.
The good news is we're here. The need continues to grow.
Yeah.
Requests for help are up over 40% this year so far, at least last quarter. So, yeah, we're here to help hospitality workers in need. That's what we do. So originally we thought there was going to be these big, huge grants, and most of our grants are between $2,000 and $3,000, and they really are. It's a bridge, right? And it keeps people from being homeless, because so many people in our industry, if you're a server, you're a cook, unless you have family, you don't have a lot of disposable income, right? And you don't have a safety net. So if you don't work, you don't earn.
Right.
And if you've got to take 8 weeks off and you don't make tips, your $213 an hour ain't going to get you anything, right? So our ability to come in and help out, and then the Stability Network followed that with just resources for people, outside of Giving Kitchen that can help them, other organizations. So it's just grown into this super cool, pretty awesome charity that we never kind of imagined.
So for people listening that want to get involved and support the Giving Kitchen, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Yeah, if you go to givingkitchen.org, check out the website. More than anything else, what we'd love from you is just for you to be aware of what we're doing and make everyone dines out, right? If you know of someone, if your favorite server has an issue, like tell them we're there, we're real, we're not, there's no quid pro quo. There's not any, it's not a loan. Like we're here to help. So awareness is the biggest thing. If you want to participate in cool events, we just did Forkside Seats where we took the whole floor of State Farm Arena with the Hawks and had 12 or 13 chefs and did a huge thing there. We're all over the country, so get involved in whatever way you want. But the biggest thing you do is awareness and spread the word.
You won a James Beard Humanitarian Award.
Yeah.
For the Giving Kitchen.
It's,
how does that feel?
It feels great. It feels honestly like ironic, that I'm much more proud of this for winning it for what we did than anything I could do with food.
Awesome.
That's something. I think this is really probably too much information and probably far too introspective, but I'm not sure anybody long term remembers the restaurants. Mm-hmm. My goal is that everybody knows about the Giving Kitchen and that someday we don't need the Giving Kitchen.
Yeah.
That we can affect change in our industry on a scale wide enough that we don't need an organization like GK. But it's our legacy. It's Ryan's legacy. It's Jenny's legacy. We have an incredible team of people that work there who are just so good at what they do, stewarding it. If you want to go on that website and read some of these testimonials. Mm-hmm. I mean, you shouldn't have to choose between feeding your child and paying for an Uber to get to your chemo. We're better than that. Right. That's bullshit. Right? And we have people that are doing that. And you look at some of these situations and you're just like, I mean, I went through it. I went through it. I've lost both my parents and, I have every advantage in the world. I'm well educated. I'm smart. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Mm-hmm. Now imagine trying to be a single mom or dad and deal with losing a parent and taking care of them and trying to get your 2 kids to school and work your job or your 2 jobs. Unbelievable, man. These people are their resiliency and the just sheer determination is out of this world. So I'm happy we can help. Go check out what we're doing. It's important. And we all eat out. Everybody goes out to eat. These are the people that are taking care of you. They're cooking your food. They're washing the dishes. They're waiting on you. They're showing you to your table. They're at your country club. They're in your local coffee shop. They're in your kids' schools preparing the food, right? These are real people that you can reach out and touch, right? So you're affecting your community in a really positive way.
Yeah. That's a very amazing story. Thank you for sharing more on that. So we're sitting here at Warhorse Investments. You're expanding into spaces outside of what I would call, a traditional restaurant. So can you talk about Warhorse and Seahorse and what inspired you all to do more of these private type concepts?
Yeah, I mean, this space, which is next to Local 3, it was an office and it became vacant. And we had this kind of big horse-powered kitchen, and I'm a golfer. But none of my golf clubs I want to go eat at.
Okay.
Right? That's not what they specialize in.
Right.
But I love the fact that there's convenience. People know your name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm hanging out with a lot of like-minded people in many cases, right? And we just had the idea, what if we did, London's had dining clubs forever, right? Why can't we do a dining club and see what happens?
Yeah.
And that's really when we did it, people were like, you're crazy. It's never going to work. Yeah. You're nuts. And, we've been around 8 years now. We just expanded, opened the arbitrage room and Seahorse Advisors. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of it. There are now multiple, when we started, it was just the club at Chops. Mm-hmm. And now
the lobster bar,
yeah. And now you've got, Lion's Head and the Perline. So I think it's just about like-minded people who are coming together to do like-minded stuff in an atmosphere that's cool.
So talk about the themes of the two different spaces for Warhorse and Seahorse.
Yeah, I mean, Warhorse is so much like, it's so much of the weird stuff that goes in my head, which is scary to some people and amusing to others. But it really is just like what we do, we take very seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. And I think a theme that runs through Todd and Ryan and I's projects is this idea that we really love nice, highly curated stuff, but we don't like the self-conscious sort of stuffy attitude around it. So it's like, I mean, we have this idea, you know, we've called it foie gras on your flip-flops, like this idea that, you know, if you walk into the dining room at Warhorse, you look and you see like all of these oil paintings, or you look over the fireplace at Warhorse and you're like, oh, you know, people are like, oh, there's your grandfathers. I'm like, no, that's Randolph and Mortimer Duke from Trading Places.
Right.
And there's a lesson here, right? Yeah. Like, don't make me be Eddie Murphy. Like, I will be Winthorpe. And so I think just this idea of a place that you can be comfortable, that's highly bespoke, that does really take care of you, that everything is very intentional. And it's your place. It's your club. It's your place to hang out.
Yeah, I'll just say it. If you haven't been to Warhorse or Seahorse because you're not a member, find someone who is a member and come, because it's one of the coolest moments when you walk into the lobby and Warhorse and you're the guest of so-and-so and a button is pressed. And
yeah, I really wanted it to be like, I think with all of our concepts, my goal is for you to lose track of time.
Yeah.
I want, it's like a Vegas thing. You know, when you stumble out of anywhere in Vegas, it could be the middle of the day. It could be like you just lose track of time because you're enjoying what's around you, and it's a little bit sensory overload, and it's a little bit, but that's really what we're looking for.
Well, I mean, it's like the ultimate speakeasy. The wall opens. It's like the Roaring Twenties. Like you hear like music and glasses clinking. You walk inside, the door closes, and poof, like you disappear from the world.
You're in a different world.
Who came up with the whiskey button idea? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, that is
no pictures.
That is actually from a club in London.
Okay.
Babo something. And they had a champagne button, and I saw it, and I was like, we need a whiskey button. Press the button, you get whiskey. I'm still trying to figure out how to get one of those at home that doesn't involve my wife bringing me whiskey, because that ain't happening.
I think that's one of the coolest features in the men's room. Press the button for whiskey, you come out, and there's a whiskey waiting for you. It's December, it's Christmas time, so if all James wants for Christmas is a Warhorse membership, is it still, like, how do you become a member? Is it still a thing, or is it by invitation only?
It's a thing. You've got a good start. The number one
know the right
rule,
people?
It is the number one rule at Warhorse, and it is in writing in our handbook, is no douchebaggery. So, if there's any sense of entitlement or sort of stuck-upness, you're probably not going to be here. And then, quite frankly, I designed this to work like Augusta National on Cliff Roberts. So be nice to me. And, you know, the thing that really helps and what it's really become is the success of Warhorse is, yes, the space is cool, yes, but the people are what make it. And it's the staff and the members. And so the way to get in is to get 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or 25 members to go. You
got to get this guy.
That's a guy. That you need to have as part of this, because we're trying to create a culture here, right? That's what this is about. We're trying to create. And so if we can do that, that's really the success of the club. And when I get jazzed about it is when members, like, I got a text with a picture from a friend of mine who plays golf for a living, and he's flying to LA, and someone in business class had a Warhorse quarter zip on, and he's like, sighting of Warhorse in the wild. And I'm like, that's when you know, like, you've created something pretty cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, when people are like, so yeah, it's really, if you're interested in membership, find a member, and we can make that happen.
Well, I will work on that. I got a couple people I can talk to.
Yeah, I think you're good.
So you've been around a while. You've watched Atlanta's restaurant culture grow, over the years. What do you think makes dining in the South so special, generally speaking?
I think Southern hospitality is a real thing. I think we're prone to be open with people. We love for people to sit at our tables. We love to take care of people. Dining in the South is collegial and it's collaborative. It's not that way in New York, man. It's kill or be killed, right? And in a lot of cities, like this, in Atlanta in particular, is a town where everyone's embraced each other and embraced that a rising tide does lift all boats. And so I think that it's a thing. I think there's such an incredible diversity within Southern hospitality, like that's really cool, and you can do a lot of different things. The coolest thing to me is the level of collegiality and collaboration.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Let's talk about the Chris Hall highlight reel. If I'm going to the restaurants, MTH Pizza, Roshambo, Local 3, Muss Turners, if you're going to tell someone to eat their way through your spaces, what are things at each place they cannot miss?
Oh, wow. That's a hellaciously great question. All right, we'll do them in order of birth. How about that?
Order of birth.
We'll do them in order, not necessarily. We'll do them, or maybe we'll do Smyrna and then we'll do Buckhead.
Okay.
But Muss Turners has so many iconic sandwiches. But the gobbler is it to me. Like, right, get the homemade fries. So the gobbler is Thanksgiving on a bun. It's turkey and stuffing and lingonberry coulis and lemon thyme mayo, and it's just my sandwich, right?
Yeah.
We do make the best Reuben in town.
Okay.
There's lots of other, if Tuscan Raiders on the menu, you can do that. Swifty's Dream, named after our buddy Jay Swift, is a pulled pork sandwich with bacon and coleslaw on it, right? Because you can't have too much swine.
Yeah.
I mean, right? So then go to Eleanor's, our speakeasy next door. Order a brown thrasher, then order another brown thrasher, then get another brown thrasher. Continue until the Uber comes to get you. It's a great drink.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. Our team behind the bar there does a really great job with their cocktails. But brown thrasher is one that Eric Ellickson, who we call Chops, came up with years ago. Stayed on the menu. It's always going to be on the menu, and it's a great drink. So rip over to MTH. MTH is hard for me because I love it so much. It's like having pizzas in my roots and in my blood, and so I'll tell you, if you like hot, get a Hellboy.
Okay.
Get a margarita. Just keep it simple and let the dough be the dough and let the cheese be the cheese and let the tomatoes be the tomatoes. And then, any of the specialty pies, I think we put a lot of time and effort. They change seasonally.
Okay.
There's everything on there from our version of a butter chicken pizza to, with my grandparents being from Michigan, we do a Detroit-style pizza. If you get it with pepperoni, it's called Gordo's Big Sexy. Gordo's my nickname that the amigos have given me in the kitchen. So I'm prone to get a Gordo's Big Sexy and crush that.
Yeah.
And I will say the surprise thing at MTH, the wings are really good.
Okay.
The wings are really good. Don't sleep on the wings.
Don't sleep on the wings.
Yeah, and then come down to Local 3 and rip through all the bourbon you can ever possibly drink.
Right.
This is self-aggrandizing and sounds that way, and I'm not going to apologize for it. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of places that style themselves as bourbon bars. And they're like, we have 90 bourbons. Okay, we have 900. Like, this is a bourbon bar.
Right.
Like, I've got stuff, and, like, you want to go deep? We can go as deep as you want to go, right?
Yeah, things people never
So,
heard.
yeah, like we have legit, at any given time, there's 8 or 9 of our own barrels that we picked. Like, so come drink bourbon. The truffle parm popcorn is a thing. The only thing that's been on the menu since opening day, other than the popcorn, is the McDowell, which is, a rip on Coming to America.
Yeah, Coming to America.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, no seeds on our bun.
My bun's having the seeds.
Yeah, and so get a McDowell. The seasonal, we change the menu every season. There's a lot of cool stuff on there right now. And then go to Roshambo and get a bucket of fried chicken.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I've wanted to do that for so long. And if you really want to get gnarly, get a bucket of fried chicken and a bottle of champagne, because there is like no better pairing, and just let it rip.
Yeah. Dude, the barrel of fun at Roshambo. Yeah, I joke around. Some people have a sweet tooth. I have a fried chicken tooth. It is a must. It is a must do at Roshambo. You mentioned bourbon, and I mentioned Christmas. One of the things I'm really excited about is the Local 3 Bourbon and Burger Series that's coming up. I've already bought a ticket with a friend.
Awesome. Good deal.
To come in one in February. The Buffalo Trace.
BT is going to be an awesome one.
Night. So share more about this.
Yeah,
Tell people about this.
We do a lot around the holidays with bourbon. So things, you need to get in on an advent calendar, right? So we do a bourbon advent calendar, a different 2-ounce pour of bourbon every day. Take it home with you. We have a video that links to it. So we either get the distiller or one of us to talk about it. So you get 24 different bourbons. So your nightly cocktail. And these aren't like stuff that came out of a plastic bottle. This is like super cool stuff.
Yep.
So we have the advent calendar, and then we just released our bourbon and burger series. I've just gotten tired of the like 6-course tasting menu bourbon thing.
Yep.
We're all drinking and having a great time. Like burgers and bourbon go together, so we theme a burger to go with whatever it is. I mean, we're doing Buffalo Trace this year. We're doing a Pappy one this year. We're doing a thing of all our barrels, some old stuff that we haven't released. But I mean, just the idea of you getting OFC in the Buffalo Trace one, it's a 25-year-old, like amazing. So there's a really cool Old Forester one. So yeah, we released them all this week to members, and next week they'll be out to the general public, and buy your tickets and check them out.
Well, that's a key thing, though. It's not unlimited. I mean, there is limited seating at each of these.
Yeah,
right?
we do. I mean, basically, essentially, it's 24 seats to each one, right?
So you got to get in.
Yeah, you got to get in, or you get left out. But we, the whole idea is the other thing that I'm proud of. Like, I'm not going to tell you they're cheap. But for what they are, they're not expensive.
It's a good deal.
Like, we're not trying to make it. I really dislike when I go somewhere and they've just got cool bourbon, but they've priced it so nobody can try it. Right. That's why I never put Pappy on the menu. If you ask me for Pappy because you want to drink it or you've never had it, like, I'll go get you some generally because I want you to experience that. But if I just put it on the menu where someone's just trying to show off that they can buy it, that they have that cash, not my thing.
I didn't realize, and I feel like I've missed a major part of my life for not realizing this. You do a prime rib night?
Yeah, prime rib Saturday nights at Local 3.
Best in town?
Yeah, I'll put it. The two things on the weekend at Local 3 are like the most fun for me right now. So, prime rib on Saturday nights, right? Full, like, we do prime rib really well. You get a loaded baked potato. You get a salad. You get whatever we're doing for dessert. Could be baked Alaska. Could be peanut butter pie. Come crush it. Like, have a good time. On Sunday nights.
Yeah, I love this.
I'm definitely going to get the cease and desist now.
Yeah.
So I've had a long running goal to get cease and desist from major companies. So we started doing 3 Guys this summer where we just become a burger joint.
Right.
So you can build your own burger. We have other killer stuff. We do a real filet of fish sandwich, like with real fish and real, like, so it's the only time you can get onion rings, right? I mean, it's just our version. Because when I go out, Sunday nights are usually the night we go out to eat, and I never want to do anything fancy, right? But I want good, solid, fun food. So 3 Guys on Sunday nights. Yeah, Local 3's pretty fun on the weekends right now. Prime rib, and we just figured nobody's doing a lot of prime rib,
Right.
Like, it's hard to find now.
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to find a go-to. So my go-to is always Highland Tap.
Yeah.
You just go down to Highlands and hit Highland Tap. Now that I'm aware that Local 3 has a Saturday night prime rib night, believe me, I'm in on that. Do you have any other crazy experiences coming down the barrel that you want to tip your hat to? Anything else or no?
No, I mean, we're always imagining cool stuff. I'm going to try something on a small scale. I'm trying to come up with a booze version of Cards Against Humanity.
Awesome.
right?
I like where this is going.
Like we're just going to put a bunch of booze in front of you, and then we're going to have our version of Cards Against Humanity cards. And, it was the whiskey made me do it in the lobby. I mean, maybe it's Clue. I don't know. But, I'm just trying to figure this out. So that's germinating in my brain.
Okay.
I've been thinking about, my Atlanta food experience. What would I do in Atlanta for a day? And I keep bouncing around. But I think I've got it. If I came for a weekend, I'd do Aria for dinner on Friday.
Okay.
Just because Andres and that team and new chef, Harrison's awesome. I'd want to experience that. Make Saturday just a rip and run. Get a driver and just rip and run up and down Buford Highway.
Okay.
Right? Array del Taco, Mamak, Hyundai, Ming's.
Yeah, for people that aren't familiar, Buford Highway is the melting pot.
Yeah, this is our all the ethnic food you can possibly eat, right?
Every culture.
Dumplings at Northern China Eatery. And then I think Craig Richards is a friend and a great cook. And so he just opened a lease. Mm-hmm. So we either go there or Lila. And then, get in some trouble and somehow at 5 a.m. end up at Wahoo and crush some Waffle House and it'd be a weekend. I'll probably retire here. Julie and I have talked about I'd like to spend some time in Montana just because I love it out there. And they could hate me like they hate every other carpetbagger coming in there. But Atlanta's home and I love it here. And I think you can do everything you want here year round.
You've mentioned her a few times, so let's talk about Julie. Is she really polyatomic roller derby? What is this?
She is retired.
She was in roller derby?
She did roller derby for 10 years.
Wow.
On Sakatuyas. It was a great experience for her. I got a lot of wild looks in the grocery store line. People coming up you don't have to go home because she had a black eye or something. I'm like, let me tell you, no, I'm not the one giving anyone black eyes. Her showing up to a wedding going, I got to wear a different dress because I've got a bruise and a strawberry all the way down. She loved it. I encourage anyone, the league's still around, go check it out. The women are awesome. When she was doing it was BYOB. And it's super competitive and a ton of fun. So, luckily we made it out without any major injuries, right? Some black eyes, some sprains, but no ACLs, no bone breaks. And I think as her friends that came in with her after 10 years started that kind of stuff, she was like, I'm out.
If you could open a restaurant anywhere, doesn't have to be in the South, but let's just say it was in the South, no rules, you have all the money in the world, you can do whatever you want, what would it be? What would you serve? Or have you already done it?
I have not done it. I have two things that I want to do. The first, I'm not sure is economically viable in these times. It's been tried by a friend of mine, but I have a deep, deep, deep and abiding love for the Meat and Three.
Okay.
And I think it's really difficult to pull off now just because of the price of it. I mean, a Meat and Three now would be $40-something bucks, and who's going to spend that? But just man, so many great experiences of that's the food yes, I like caviar. I love caviar. Mm-hmm. I also love meatloaf. Right?
Same.
I also like a Meat and Three to me is the most quintessential Southern
comfort food. Yeah.
I get I'll probably get booted out of whatever chef's fraternity I'm supposed to be in or whatever, but it's okay to have stewed green beans. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And they're even more awesome when they're real green beans and didn't come from a can, but you actually stewed them down with bacon and I just so I'd really love to do a Meat and Three. I'm not sure if it's economically viable. I grew up cooking French food, but Italian food is my default setting. And I've not done an Italian restaurant because I said when I do, I'm going to go back in the kitchen and do it myself. I want to do a yin-yang thing where half of the restaurant you get real Italian food and half of the restaurant you get Jersey Italian food. And you can pick which side you go eat on. So those are the two. You can either go and get Jersey Italian, right? Or you can go and get real Italian. Okay. Both of which are great. Yeah. Depends on what you're in the mood for, right? Those would be the two that I haven't done that I really want to do. Meat and Three is kind of the ultimate dream.
That sounds fun. I also like the yin and yang Italian restaurant idea. I was making the comment to someone earlier, I'm getting older. I just turned 50. I haven't become the get off my lawn curmudgeon yet. But I find that as I age, I want to be more comfortable and I want consistency. And you just said meatloaf, right? I love comfort food. What is your favorite like comfort food place in Atlanta or outside of Atlanta? And like, what would you order?
Man,
other than the chicken Roshambo?
That's a really interesting question. Too many people sleep on tater tots. You know, when we really lean into tater tots, like when we were doing takeout food during COVID, if you're doing fresh fries, they're terrible, right? By the time they get home, they're sogged out. So we were like, screw the fries, don't have the manpower, let's lean into tots. And so now everybody's like, you got any of those tots? We got the disco tots at Roshambo, right?
Yep.
Which I try not to eat all the time because they're not exactly great for me.
Sure.
But yeah, big tater tot guy.
Yeah, love tater tots.
Yeah, tater tots with sour cream and caviar I want to do something. You asked earlier, like what's coming up. The other idea that I've really been kicking around is kind of this, like, I think the working title in my brain is like high-low. Because like I love being able to drink a great red wine with a burger or vice versa. Like, how do I combine like everyday things and sort of esoteric, exotic things into one experience together?
Yes.
So talking about figuring out how, fried chicken and champagne, like how do we do more of the high-low stuff?
Yes.
Like I'm caviar and tater tots.
Okay. Yeah, let me know when you crack that code, and I'll come to that.
Sounds like we're in. Well. Where have you eaten recently that rocks that I should go?
Where have I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to turn it around. Like, what's the experience I need to have?
Man, there's two I can think of, and one's going to sound like, of course, and one you probably never heard of. But
I love both of them.
So I'm from New Orleans, and I'll just say this: if you haven't experienced the chef's table at Commander's Palace, that's a thing, man. I mean, that's Meg Bickford, like literally, like prepares the meal for you, talks to you. It's 7 or 8 courses, 4 hours, 4 people. Just it'll blow you away if you haven't done that.
That's awesome. What a great restaurant. What an institution.
Yeah, T. Martin and Lally Brennan over there, just really, really great people.
Yeah. So Nancy Oswald, who's chair of the Giving Kitchen board, went to school with them.
Oh, really?
They're the ladies of food, as we call them. Yes. They're the first ladies of food. Right? And they're unbelievable.
The other place that I've been that I thought was totally unique, and it's got a shelf life. It's ending. They're doing their last service. I think New Year's Eve 2025. There's a place down in Charleston, and it's called Raw Lab. And it is 12 seats, theater in the round, 240 square feet. But it is a multi-course omakase style, focus on marine cuisine, oysters, caviar, and wines from around the world. And man, his name is Chef Kevin Joseph. I would put that experience right there with Commander's Palace. I mean, that's
awesome.
It's totally different, but it's totally amazing.
I love that.
I love to eat. So
who doesn't? I mean, if you don't, like, we probably don't want to hang out with you, right?
Well, I mean, it's like I just went when we were in Charleston. I'll throw this out there too, and I'll stop talking about other restaurants. But Chubby Fish.
No, it's funny when we were talking before this, like. So it's so funny, like what was it, 2 weeks ago we were talking about doing this and you mentioned Chubby Fish, and I've seen Chubby Fish like 100 times. Yeah. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention to it before, but like it's like their momentum right now is crazy.
Yeah, it's snowballing. And it's this little corner place, man. It's very unassuming and they don't take reservations. You go there at like 4:30 and you get in line and you put your name in, and there's a little cocktail bar, ironically called Seahorse, right next door.
Perfect.
You get a bourbon and you wait for your seating, and that place is phenomenal.
I just think that's so cool. I mean, yeah, I'm all for that. Like, that's killer. There's so much going on in Southern food right now, and it's such a cool time to be part of it, right? I'll part with this, like, eat local, eat at places like Chubby Fish, eat at places like Raw Lab, eat with local independent restaurateurs. It's not that we don't love our big guys that do big things, but big guys that do big things, like, you got to keep the people in your neighborhood going. So if it's a little Italian place, like there's a little Moroccan place that just opened up by us in Smyrna, go and support your local bars and restaurateurs. Right? Because if you don't, they won't be around, and you'll just get stuck with another Seasons 52, and we've got enough Maggianos in the world. Love you, but we don't need any more Cheesecake Factories, man.
Yeah, man.
We got them all, right? Like, support. It's a hard play now to get into this business, and we're in it, which is good. But it's hard for. If it was 20 years ago and I was just starting out, it's rough to get the capital, to get banks to believe in you, to get all that. So support your local people. It's key to the whole thing.
Well, no, man. And look, for everyone listening, you got to come check out Chris's restaurants, unsukay.com. They're all listed there. But I mean, Local 3 is just fun, right? I mean, Muss Turners is just fun. If you, again, get someone, go to Roshambo, get the bucket of fried chicken. Absolutely amazing. Find a friend who's a member, go to Warhorse, and just experience the speakeasy vibe. You're doing so many wonderful things, and just thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Cool. Appreciate you. Anytime.
You can find this episode and more at retiresouthern.com. Please follow us on socials at Retire Southern and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, remember, don't wait for retirement to start living. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.